Born and bred in the spirit of art, Leti Garza's musical journey seems preordained. As a little girl growing up in Houston, Texas, she was surrounded by music, including that of her aunt, international star Eva Garza. Later, as she developed and fed her own artistic ambitions, her brother David Rodriguez, an acclaimed songwriter in the 70s, would be an influence. From dancer to stage actress to contemporary Latin music legend, Leti Garza is an artist's artist. Now, in the wake of terrible socioeconomic turmoil, Garza is inspired, as she has been since her teen years, by the plight of those who are overlooked and underrepresented. Join us as we discuss Leti's roots, inspirations, and the future of her musical journey. Love from the Borderland, an interview with Leti Garza.
My real name is Leticia Rodriguez, but my name that I go by is Leti Garza. So if you are interested in hearing about my music, go to Leti Garza, spelled with an L-E-T-I. That's a great question. I would say my music is about moving the spirit. It's very rhythmically oriented because I grew up originally as a professional dancer, and rhythm has always been very important to me. So it's very rhythmic. It's very soulful. I also have grown up as a student and a teacher of yoga. And so I would say my music crosses both realms of joy and also realms of sorrow is not the word, but it's introspection. So my music is sometimes just fun, just like get out and dance. And it can also be on the opposite end of the spectrum or a different spectrum, music that's filled with meaning for examination of what's happening in the world frequently. How's that? It's Latin, it's bilingual, it's folk, it's jazz. It's Latin jazz. It's a little theatrical. Okay, that's good. March 24th, I'm also releasing I'm releasing an EP that's filled with folk-oriented music. It's also Latin folk. But I came from a background both of, as I said before, I was a dancer, learned a lot about Afro-Caribbean rhythms through listening to music and through my dance practices. But also I grew up in a household of musicians, full of musicians that were steeped in the folk traditions of the time, which were, like Cohen and Dylan. And so I have music that's folk oriented, so that, so a lot of people haven't heard it, but I've been playing it over the past 2 years, probably in solo gigs. The music that you hear at Brown Recluse, my latest release in December, is filled with what I had been doing all along for the past maybe, 7 years, which is play with a band and play salsa and play dance music. So again, I have a lot of different things that I can do and do to talk about it. So go back in time, and the end of 2018, that is when the Trump administration, that summer of 2018, that's when the Trump administration decided to hold children in detention centers, immigrant children, separate them from their families, put them in these detention centers that were built all across the country. So there's been a lot, through time that has happened since that time in 2018, but still we still have very much present these huge problems with solving immigration policy, and especially with regards to children. So that's where my attention was in 2018 and remains today in different ways. And in 2018, I made a journey to support a group that was witnessing the the children that were being kept in these camps. And there was an event that called for people across the country to come. This group decided to have people sort of witness on Christmas Day. And they had a thought of creating music to sing to the children. I went down to Tornillo, Texas, at the El Paso border area. And people came from all across the country. I came because as a musician, I heard that they wanted to sing Christmas songs. And there was no way to see the children at that time. The administration didn't allow anyone to see the children, not even politicians. They were held out in these camps away from public. But the people who went down to the border found out that they let the children out to go play soccer a time or two a day in these yards that were fenced in. And we could, as a group, station ourselves, I don't know how many hundreds of feet. It had to have been maybe a couple hundred feet away from the fenced in area. And we could actually get speakers and blast music over there so that they knew that there were other people who were not in support of them being kept in these camps. So anyway, again, as a musician, I decided to go down there and sing because I'm a bilingual singer. And I knew a lot of the music was going to be held in English. And I thought it was important that songs be sung in Spanish to the children. But when I came home, I was understandably just profoundly sad and moved by the experience. I had never participated and probably never will again, I suspect, anything quite so incredibly unbelievable as the experience of knowing that these children were being kept in these prison-like conditions for they didn't know how long, and neither did anyone else. Anyway, so I came home and I, was thinking about it a lot on from a musical point of view, like, what can I do? I'm not really a very good protester. I like to do my music. I think that's my strongest place where I can contribute to thinking about matters of the day. So I sat by this pond and created a song about the experience because it needed to be done. And the song was written in Spanish, but it was also for Americans. I wanted to create a song that was both for those who speak English as well as those who speak Spanish. And it was translated for you briefly. It was about watching how things in nature seem to figure out how to get along, and that the life can be very simple. The sun rises, the sun sets, the wind blows, the pond has a ripple on it. And I was just feeling extremely sad that in our country at the time that we couldn't figure out a peaceful way to protect these innocent children.
Espero, lloro, sí. Un día vivir en paz. Espero, lloro, sí. Espero, lloro, sí. Un día vivir con compasión. Espero, lloro, sí. Espero, lloro, sí. we learn we are one humanity.
It's a prayer. It's a prayer for hope to that someday, that as a people, and people of all worlds, people of all the globe, that we learn how to live in peace, and that we learn compassion, and that we learn we are one humanity. The thing about writing a song about hope is that I feel that there are a lot of people in the world, and certainly in our country, we have come out of our homes to elect this new president because we're tired of seeing these things happen that are beyond our control. And I feel like the people are taking control, and we're giving ourselves hope. People are standing up, and they're getting off their seats. You know, they're making the effort way beyond what my song is. And I'm just trying to catch up with music that I do to see if there's something that I can contribute that I know I'll be good at. So some of the songs, there's 5 songs. 2 of them are cover songs. 2 of the songs are cover songs because I think it's also important to recognize others who have been doing this kind of genre to talk about things going on in the world, that freedom, as you said, liberation, freedom, hope is a condition that everyone's trying to seek these qualities more and more for people who are not necessarily wealthy or white or whatever. I'm saying those factually speaking, trying to speak for people who are all across the spectrum. Anyway, I included a couple of cover songs. One is from a Mexican folkloric singer, Natalia Lafourcade. Another one, the other song is from a television show, which I loved that it was from a television show. I got it off a television show called La Niña. I encourage everyone to watch this show, La Niña. It's about children in Colombia that were taken and used as guerrilla fighters in the war in the 70s. And then the other three songs I wrote are very concrete in certain way. No, Las Esperanzas is not super concrete. The other 2 songs were directly taken from my experiences going into the camps and seeing certain things and writing about certain things that I saw that thought would resonate with listeners. Talking about the state of the camps, the children. They're not depressing works, but they're thoughtful works. Natalia Lafourcade is, I think, one of the most hip singer-songwriters in the world right now. So those who are familiar with the genre of Latin music, folk music in particular, they know who she is. She's powerful. And the song Derecho de Nacimiento, Birthright, was written just a few years ago. And I really wanted to bring to the forefront, for those people who do not know who she is, they should listen to this music. They'll be blown off their feet. And so I wanted to bring it to Americans too, to say, hey, we can also use this song. It's about what is needed for everyone. Well, certain rights, to be free. So these themes just keep repeating all over the place. And then the other song also was about, since it was taken from a TV show, it was written about children experiencing oppression and being held against their will, just as children are being held against their will in this country. That kind of called out to me. I thought there was a relationship to use that song. She was known for boleros, and boleros are sort of slow tempo, romantic, beautiful. They're loved worldwide. Oh my gosh, they're loved worldwide. It was the first time I'd ever heard my aunt, Eva Garza, do a merengue one.
quién te besó a la orilla de empalizar. Dime niña, quién te besó a la orilla de empalizar. La culpa tuvo tu madre que la justicia no hiciera nada. Por eso es que a mí me gusta el merengue, la empalizada.
When I heard that song, I just had to record it. So it was recorded in 2017 on my album El Único para mí, which is a dynamite album also. I keep getting these requests lately to play it across other Latin American countries in particular right now, which is cool. But merengues, if you don't know what a merengue is, you need to go home and put on a merengue. And I thought it just super needed to be recorded because it's one of those kind of rhythms that you cannot escape from, that just brings you joy to just put it on and you just have to move to it. And I could not help but record such a song. And that it was sung by my aunt was, of course, there was just no choice but. Producer for this new album, as well as did the remix for La Empaliza. He heard the album El Único para mí shortly after it was done, and he came to me and said, "Wow, I love this song, La Empaliza." Anyway, so he asked if he could remix it, and I said, "Are you kidding me? What a cool idea," because as a remix, it brings it to the clubs. It brings it, that energy that he added to it, brought it from 2017 Latin jazz, dance music on a salsa night to 2021 dance music for a club anywhere in the world. It needs to be, DJs are approaching me to ask, can I play this in my club? It doesn't matter where you're from. So he really contemporized it. And I really believe in creating music, again, that's super relevant, that's for all ages, any generation, any culture. Let's just make it direct, straight to the heart.
Oye niña, qué bueno está el merengue de la empaliza. Oye niña, qué bueno está el merengue de la empaliza. Como fuese descuidaron que la justicia no hiciera nada. Por eso a mí me gusta el merengue de la empaliza. A la orilla de la empaliza. Mira niña, qué bueno está. Las mujeres son de Santiago y en Santiago ya viven bien. Las mujeres son de Santiago y en Santiago ya viven bien. Por causa de las mujeres sanjuaneras soy yo también. Y por causa de las mujeres sanjuaneras soy yo también.
You ask great questions. I feel like you already know me. Well, the thing is, I came from an artistic background. A lot of my family members were artists. They were musicians. My aunt, my cousins, my brothers. And so I was raised with music all my life, but I was also raised culturally as a Latina. Culturally speaking, people who are involved in that culture know that dance is an integral part of our lives as well. And so, I became a dancer at the age of 3, because I was somebody who couldn't sit down very easily. And so I have followed an artistic tradition for all kinds of things, artistically speaking. And they've all added to my music that I'm doing today. I started doing music maybe 15 years ago, maybe more than that, maybe 20 years ago now. But before then, I professionally danced. I ran a theater company, a multidisciplinary performance company, I should call it. I did theater. I wrote, I produced. I did a whole lot of artistic endeavors that I have record of. And so, no, I have not always done music, but I grew up doing music. Like when I was a kid, my brothers played, one of my brothers in particular, David Rodriguez, he played in a club all over town in Houston. And so I would go sing with him, both as a child and then later as an adult. So I always had this thread that it was not a reach for me to just go get up and sing somewhere, because I grew up that way. And also in high school, I was singing in high school for different plays. So I had the confidence and the belief, let's just start a singing career. And I did. I'm still doing it. I always consider myself to be pretty strong interiorly, but it's been a true test, 2020, I think, for pretty much all of us. Those who are strong and those who are not feeling strong. I have found myself all over the place periodically, not quite as strong as I thought. Even last night, on a very relevant current note, even last night, I was talking to my husband on the couch, and I have a 92-year-old mother who I'm very concerned about. And I have a just turned 1-year-old granddaughter I'm very concerned about. I have a son very concerned about. And I'm reading a lot of spiritual texts. I'm returning to yoga practice, at least a little, to continue to find my center so that I can be a form of support for others, certainly for myself too. But so it's really, I think, been a positive. I like positives in anything. I think it's a choice you make. So I think it's been a positive that it's forced me to reevaluate my strengths and weaknesses, and then try to work on remaining centered and understanding that I can be support for others. Others are doing it for others all the time. Like, again, back to that collective of people getting together and going out to vote when Georgia, oh my God, people working on these overwhelming issues, healthcare workers that are risking their lives all the time. There are so many people to be inspired by right now. So I'm, trying to use my past 2020 experiences and current experiences, last night experiences that I was reflecting on, oh my God, what's going to happen, to just keep reaching inside and renewing and recentering through things I already do know, but you have to revisit, because emotions are up and down. They're meant to be. We're meant to be up and down. We are creatures meant to be up and down. And just recognizing that we can come back to our center, come back to our center, come back to our center. And also to express my gratitude remember to express my gratitude and remember those things which are, oh my God, so many, that I have a granddaughter, that I have a grandmother, that I have a son and a daughter and a husband, and that I have a shelter over my head. I mean, we can all find something to be grateful for. And I think that's important to remind ourselves of too. Humorous. I'm going to say Bernie's meme is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time, in addition to Mike Pence's fly on his head meme. So there are things to be laughing about even today. And I'm very excited about my new album coming out. I'm super stoked about that. I'm super stoked that there's people. Lately I've been getting, again, people reaching out to me through the internet. And your interview is one as well, with wonderful Zoom meeting. But they're very interested in what I'm doing musically. And, who knows, maybe that wouldn't happen if I were out playing my regular gig. Who knows? But it's been very exciting. I've been getting information from a Grammy nominated musician who wants, very interested in having me work with him on some music of his. So who knows? I mean, 2021, let's go for it. You know, I'm ready. Yeah, I have this feeling, not just about my EP, but about the music that I'm doing. There seems to be a shift going on with people connecting with me about what they want to hear and why they want to hear it. And so I'm very excited about this EP and what's to come. I even have another album that I'd like to make at the end of 2021. I don't know if I'll get around to it, but I already have another album that I'm already excited about. Oh my God. So let's talk next year, or let's talk later.